Hey, so this is my look at last week's comics order. Finally came today, and I've read them all, so I'll give my ratings for them as well. Okay, so just five issues. The first one is one that didn't come out last week, came out the week before, but I forgot to order it, so I ordered it last week, and that's Adventures of Superman John Kent. So this is a new John Kent series by Tom Taylor again, and artwork by Clayton Henry. Um, Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I got a bit bored with the first series of John Kent. I just thought it felt a bit flabby. It didn't feel like it got its own proper identity, but in this one, it really did. And in a fun kind of way, I think they kind of address fans, and I think Tom Taylor's view on Bendis aging up John Kent. They address it in this issue. But yeah, the artwork's really nice and clean. I know I said for the latest Batman storyline how I don't like the artwork because it feels too clean. And I think for Batman, I agree with that because Batman, the comics look better when there's a bit of grit to it or a bit more stylized. But for Superman, a nice clean art style works really, really well. And it does in this one. And this ties in nicely to the long running Injustice series, what Tom Taylor did from a few years back. So if you're a fan of that, you'll really appreciate this. I don't want to go into it too much. As you can see, the artwork is really, really nice. Don't want to go into it too much about the plot because there's a lot in this plot, and you'll be rewarded just by reading it. There's a really, really good reveal at the on the last page. It's mostly been revealed on other people's sites, but I want to do it on mine. And yeah, can't wait for the next issue. It's one of those issues once you got to the last page, like, no, no, I want to read the next one right away. So yeah, Tom Taylor, top of his game. It's got the same kind of excitement as what I got from reading the latest Deceased series. So if you like that type of Tom Taylor where he ramps up the action, ramps up the intrigue, then this is the one for you. Yep. And it's not living in Kal-El's shadow. It feels like John Kent's finally got his own identity in this one. And I like how they've changed the costume slightly. The only thing I don't like is that it's just a miniseries to start with. It's six issues. Hopefully they'll do a Poison Ivy and extend it to an ongoing because it deserves it. So I would give this 8, maybe 8.5 out of 10. Really, really enjoyed it. And the next one, another DC one, Batman Incorporated. That cover is just so good. Now, it's not the normal artist on the interior. It's Michelle Bandini. Ed Brisson's still writing it. And it features, is it Dr. Pig? What's he called? I can never remember his name. I think it's Dr. Pig. I'm mostly butchering it. Butchering it. Anyway, but yes, so the normal artist isn't on it, but they've found a fantastic stand-in for this issue. I think John Tim's back next issue. Sorry, I'm really full of not great at the moment. I've had some kind of bug, but we soldier on. But yeah, so it's not the normal artist, but it's a fantastic standing artist. I think it's Mr. Pig, isn't it? Mr. Pig, I think. Oh, well, anyway, but yeah, artwork is so nice. Professor Pig, that's it. I just seen if I could find his name in the comic. So yeah, that great Grant Morrison creation, one of the best modern period new villains. Well, newish, not anymore. But yeah, it's great. Ed Brisson is at the top of his game of this story. It gives me the same level of excitement I used to get when I used to read John Ostrander's Suicide Squad years and years and years ago. Good grief, we talk about the late 80s now. And even though it's part of the Batman family, it's his own identity. Me personally, I'd have been happy if they just not called it Batman Incorporated, just called it something else because it's definitely its own beast, and it's one of my most look forward to DC Comics each month. I really, really enjoy it. And this is a comic that when I bought the first issue, I thought, I'm not going to get more than one. But it hooks me from the first issue though when I started reading it. And yeah, this is the dark horse of DC at the moment. It's so enjoyable. I give this 9 out of 10. Really, really good comic. And next up is an AWA one, of course, my favourite comic company. And this is Trojan, number 3 of 4 issues. And as I mentioned last time, this is quite a dark urban fantasy. So in this universe, it's a bit like Fables and Outlights, where fairy tale creatures, mythical creatures live amongst normal society, but they're treated like second-class citizens. And in this storyline, there's a dark web, and part of the dark web is this um, these snuff films where they kill these mythical creatures, and it's about this girl who's infiltrates it. And I don't want to say more because you do need to read it. It's a fantastic story. It's a nice fusion of dark, hard-edged, gritty, really gritty crime thriller meets fantasy, um, and it's just amazing. Great art, good dialogue, good plotting. Again, 9 out of 10. Really enjoyable. AWA are really ramping up the game at the moment with all the series what they're bringing out. Each one is hugely enjoyable. I mean, the graphic novels are so cheap as well. They normally bring out the collections a month or so after the series is completed for just $9.99. But I can't wait. I'm such a mark for them. I've got to buy them when they come out. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for that one. It's they're all. I think they're all going to be quite really high ratings this week. But that's how it should be. If you're buying your comics, just make sure you're buying comics that you're going to enjoy. Sorry, my voice is getting worse. I'm just going to have a drink. I'm getting very nasally. Yeah, my nose is kind of blocking up as I'm speaking. Nice. So, yeah, this is how this is what I'm why I'm happy of like really being quite strict in what I've been buying, because I'm narrowing it down now to comics that I really get enjoyment from, get satisfaction from. Whereas before I was buying some which like mid-range 6 out of 10s, 5 out of 10s, and I was just buying them for the sake of buying them. And if you shouldn't be doing that. If you're a comic reader, buy comics for the reading experience, for the enjoyment. And if you're not enjoying them, why are you buying them? Move on to another title. If you've got the money and you can afford to buy more comics, then try other titles. I do like to try new ones, and I'll give them like an issue, 2 issues. If they're not vibing with me, then I'll stop them. But at least I've tried them. So this is Little Monsters, after that digression, by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. As I've mentioned before, it's one of my favourite comics at the moment. It's a really great, interesting spin on vampire lore. Has a very Ray Bradbury feel. Really enjoy it. Very child centric. It's been going into the backgrounds of a lot of the characters much more, but it's now building up to the final confrontation. I think there's only 2 more issues to go, which is sad, but not sad at the same time, because I know Jeff Lemire's got quite a lot of new titles on the horizon from Image and from other companies. But yeah, fantastic series. Again, I've not read an issue I've not enjoyed. 9 out of 10, constant high watermark in storytelling, in writing and in artwork. Lovely, lovely comic. And finally, Danger Street. This is my cover of the week. Absolutely fantastic cover. And this is by Tom King and Jorge Fornes, who he did Rosa Archworth. I love this series. It's such a fun ride. I'm not understanding what's going on, but that's not the point. I could see the players are being put into place, and it will make sense as it goes on. So it's basically getting all the characters in place. It's very much like not stylistically, but storytelling wise, it's very much like a Tarantino film, like Pulp Fiction, where things kind of start off and don't feel linked, and eventually the links start to show. But what I will say, I wish Tom King was given the opportunity to write an ongoing New Gods comic, because he gets the voices of the New Gods so good, especially Orion. I know he did Mr. Miracle, but that was more like a study on relationships and depression and other things. But I just love it for him to do a bolster wall, enjoyable either Orion or New Gods comic. And another character he does so well is Manhunter as well. So yeah, there's so many story threads, characters in this series. What could spin off into their own comics? But there's 12 issues, so we're only on issue 4. So we've got 8 more issues to go, and yeah, it's great. Again, 9 out of 10. So very enjoyable week. So like I said, just 5 issues, which I'm trying to keep my weeklies down to about 5 to or no more than 6 a week. So next week I am going to be trying a few new titles that are coming out. Some that might surprise you, but I have my reasons. um, and coming up soon, I've got one more chapter of Luther Strode to read, and then I'll do the overview and review of it. And oh my god, that's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to have to take notes for that one because it's dense. It's very dense, but it's a trip. It really is a trip. And as well, I'll be doing the new number 1 releases for titles coming out in June from DC and Marvel, and then I'll do one for the indies and other publishers a little bit later as well. They can take a while to get all the information together, so those are the ones to look out for in the next coming week or two. Okay, and I shall speak to you soon. Okay, thank you. Bye.